Okay guys, we are back. Welcome all to game 2 of Extra Sour Wet Noodles taking on We'll Change This Later. The guys from Kent against the guys from the University of Manchester. We'll Change This Later already taken game 1 in a very long game, 55-minute game. Absolute marathon of Dota.
That was a hell of a game.
Very, very exciting to cast. We've seen a lot of people in the chat really hyping about James Bond on that Earthshaker. And I've seen him play it twice now. It does seem to be a hero he's very, very confident, very strong with, which is very nice to see.
Absolutely. James Bond on that Earthshaker, setting up so many kills, fantastic time, controlling the gyrocopter. Particularly we saw as We'll Change This Later, charged in on the bottom lane to take those racks, making a kill there. It was just him and Luna against his gyro, and he just kept him stunned until the Luna got the kill. Definitely making a difference in that game, the Earthshaker.
Definitely. Now we're just waiting for both teams to get ready up for game 2. Now you were mentioning your man of the match, Bunny on that clockwork. Some very esoteric plays from him, just going in when you wouldn't expect him to, and managing to get the kills. I don't think I saw a single bad cogs from him, which is nice, because I just played in a game where a clockwork was putting so many cogs around, just really nastily misplacing them, and he seemed to have really good timing on the cogs. A lot of people saying James Bond on the Earthshaker, his stuns are always on point. I put the game down to the carry there on We'll Change This Later, onto Recoil, who was just relentless in farming, relentless in pushing, and really making really good decisions as a carry.
Well carried, definitely. Some good engagements there. Possibly some questionable use of the BKB. Very reserved with the BKB use there. As we saw when he lost that Aegis on the bottom lane. No BKB during the mid game, but he absolutely made up for it late game and just did indeed carry the game on his back. But we can definitely attribute good team play, good control by his teammates, and just good general decisions of when to push, when to back out. They never had any trouble taking Roshan, which they took over and over again. Very good team play in general, indeed, from We'll Change This Later.
Definitely. Now we're going to head into the draft. Get ready for this.
So who are we hoping to see again? Any repeat player heroes? Like, do you want to see the Luna again? Recoil? Do we want to see Bunny? I want to see Bunny on his clockwork again, and I want to see him relax in the laning stage and play a little bit less aggressive, and he could do very well.
Yeah, I'd love to see James Bond on his Earthshaker again. And you know what, if Extra Sour Wet Noodles don't ban that out, they're going to be in for a bit of difficulty. But then again, there's too many heroes to ban out to respect ban out an Earthshaker.
There is indeed, but that Earthshaker absolutely was very well played, and I do think it is definitely worth a respect ban to take out that Earthshaker, because he was a big component to their success in team fights and early game.
I mean, we're going to see the clockwork banned out here from We'll Change This Later. They're respect banning that out now. They know that Bunny is insane on that clockwork. And meanwhile, ESWN, they're going to ban out the Venomancer. They're also going to ban out that Bounty Hunter that Jaden played very, very well and gave them such an edge in that game. So we've still got an Elder Titan in the pool. Still got Crystal Maiden in the pool.
Bounty Hunter, definitely the engines pushing that train of death all the way to the late game there. A huge component as to how farmed all of We'll Change This Later was. I mean, Earthshaker with an Aghanims, Crystal Maiden had some good arms too, all thanks to that bounty. So a nice span there. And we've seen Elder Titan pick up.
Not too odd these days. I love that metaphor there. The engines pushing the train of death. Such wordplay. You're a lyrical poet.
I'm a poet, and I didn't know it.
Way. So there's that Elder Titan first pick out. Moving swiftly on. And you know what? I'm still surprised at how strong Elder Titan is. I thought that nerf, it was quite a big nerf, but it was necessary because Elder Titan was an auto-win lane. But you know what? He's still strong.
He's still very strong, and honestly, his big
Reserve
strength isn't
time.
in how much. I mean, his laning phase, as you said, is still just fine. The ancestral
Dyer's pit.
spirit took a bit of a damage nerf. It also gives him, I believe, less benefits when it comes back to him. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not a big deal. That just hurts like his first like 5 levels maybe. The big draw there for Elder Titan is the natural order. That 100% base armor reduction. To put it into context, if Luna in the last game was hit by an Elder
Ten
Titan natural
seconds to
order
go.
aura, she would have lost like 23 armor.
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
the Elder Titan
Radiant's
can
pit.
help you go to late game if he's not too squish, if he plays well, if he stays out of position and just keeps that aura up, along with of course trying to start the fight with the ulti or the stomp, he can have a big effect. So a nice pickup, and then we see in response a Visage and a Weaver.
Now, ESWN, they went with Visage last time. They had Mulligan 95 on that Visage. Didn't have a massive early game
Ten
showing,
Effect,
and
seconds to
really,
go.
impact,
yeah,
definitely. That's a good point because there
Five
was really no
seconds.
point at all in the game where I said, "Wow, this Visage is doing work." It was kind
Reserve
of,
time.
oh, I'm not going to say dead weight, but perhaps, I mean, giving the player a hero that they can do more plays with or provide more benefit to the team because they weren't. But then again, this might just be subtle. They
yeah.
might have been doing, of course, an awful lot of work. I did see him doing some, using the birds to deward, and some nice stuns were
Radiant
done. But
span.
I'm just not too sure about a first pick. Now, the Weaver, I'm going to like seeing. I expect Bunny on the Weaver because, as we said, I believe last week, if you're an aggressive player and you want a hero that suits your playstyle, Weaver is the most aggressive
Ten
offlane hero
seconds
that
to
you can
go.
get.
Yeah.
Shikuchi dive under towers and then time that's out like a
Five
cheeky little bugger.
seconds.
If we see Bunny on this Weaver instead of the
Dire
hard carry,
team
it'll be
ban.
interesting to see. But I'm expecting to see a solo offlane Weaver here.
Now, I love seeing this. WCTL have banned out the
Radiant team
Earthshaker.
ban.
This is the hero that did so much for them last game, and yet they've banned it out. This is them saying to the other team, it's okay, we will ban out heroes that you know we're damn good with. That's how many tricks we have. And look, they're banning out the Death Prophet
Dire's
as well.
ban.
Essentially saying, that's fine, you're not going to get these heroes. We got these heroes last game. We're going to go something different. You're just going to have to deal with that. And you're not going to get.
Interesting ban
Dire's pit.
choices. I'm also kind of surprised to see a Darkseer ban this late, particularly against an Elder Titan. The Darkseer is a nice choice against the Elder Titan, as is possibly a Shadow Demon, because when you get a clone of that Elder Titan with the Darkseer wall, when you get an illusion, it carries the aura. So honestly, some odd bans here, I think, and there's no real plan to any of these. I mean, I don't think it makes too
Ten
much sense
seconds to
to be
go.
banning out heroes that you're good at if you don't know if the enemy team is good with
Five
those heroes.
seconds.
But
But
it's all
then,
about the picks.
yeah, then again, I mean, it may just be
Reserve
WCTL saying,
time.
right, we've got a plan here. That plan would be scuppered by Earthshaker and or Death Prophet.
So possibly a heavy push line, or possibly a Broodmother or a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah.
Maybe we might see then picked later on by.
Gyrocopter comes out again for extra sour wet
Radiant's
noodle.
pit.
So two of the same heroes, only one of the same heroes for WCTL going for that Crystal Maiden again. Probably going to be seeing Deezer on that, who really does play that Crystal Maiden very, very well. Rotates around really well. Gets the frostbites off at the right time. And of course, Crystal Maiden just such a strong. It's been really nice tracking her rise to the competitive scene. It used to be that if you saw, used to be about a year ago, if you saw a Crystal Maiden in the match, it was like, oh my goodness, there's a Crystal
Ten
Maiden in this match.
seconds to go.
Nowadays, it's oh, here we go, Crystal Maiden again.
Dire's
Luna
pit.
again, going to be played by Recoil, and that's got to be worrying if you're ESWN because an amazing impact last game.
Radiant's pit.
Okay, now I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see Extra Sour, Wet Noodles pick up the Jakiro. They need to not fall into this trap again of having no team fight control because again we're seeing big team fight heroes coming out. Crystal Maiden very aggressive in the laning stage as well. Luna absolute wrecker in team fights with those glaives, with the Eclipse. Elder Titan as well. all about the team fight. They
10
need to
seconds
stack
to
up on
go.
some team fight control of themselves here. The Jakiro is a
5
fantastic start. That
seconds.
ice path absolutely just shuts down any aggression, and
Yeah.
landing a gun in the middle of a team fight as
Reserve
well with a
time.
short cooldown on it. Jakiro's a fantastic pickup, but they need to pick some. They need something else, something a bit more substantial, possibly a Bane or maybe a Leshrac. So they need a bit more control because again, we're seeing a lot of
Time
control
span.
from. We'll change this later. The Crystal Maiden, Frostbite, and Nova, the Luna Lunar Beam. We now have Rubik with the telekinesis, not to mention the spell steal.
Yeah.
A lot of good spells for him to steal here, and then
Problem
the Elder
is,
Titan.
problem is, ESWN don't
10
they've got their two
seconds to
supports.
go.
They've got Jakiro Visage. Where does a Bane fit in? What they need
5
a strong mid now.
seconds.
They've left out that
Definitely.
mid hero, so they can't really go for a Bane. I don't think Bane would go
Reserve
very well
time.
mid. They could,
Yeah.
they could go
You
for
know,
a, they could go
you know
for a
what I'm
mid with.
thinking?
What are you
I'm
thinking?
thinking of Puck.
Yeah,
I'm
Puck
thinking
would
of
be
Puck
very
for a bit
strong.
of team fight control with the silence and the coils and the silence as well is going to work very good here. Puck would bring an awful lot of burst to what is so far a very squishy Radiant team with the Crystal Maiden and Rubik
Radiant
and even the
wins
Elder
battle.
Titan, depending on how much farm he gets.
But obviously, ESWN know they need a mid. They ban out the OD, so they're obviously looking for something a traditional power mid of Puck, Quap, Storm Spirit. The problem is Rubik. If you've got a Puck, Rubik is a
10
very strong,
seconds
very
to
strong
go.
against Puck in those team fights. 'Cause if he stands back, he can steal the silence,
5
he can steal the Dream
seconds.
Coil, he can steal all the mobility that Puck has. I just love Rubik. I'll
Reserve
never stop
time.
hyping about Rubik. I think the first
Rubik
time when
is
I started
absolutely
playing
amazing.
Rubik, I was like, oh my god, this is the most fun hero ever because you get to do everything. And that's why, regardless of whatever patch changes, he will always be relevant because he will always feed off the other heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. Rubik always been relevant. Never been like overpowered. I mean, his telekinesis has had a couple of nerfs. Fade Bolt had a very slight damage nerf a long time ago, and the null field. Probably, I mean, the null field is an okay ability. I mean, usually Rubik won't get high enough to max it out, but just with the pure strength of Spell Steal, Telekinesis, and Fade Bolt, as you say, always relevant. Rubik is, and he's got some good spells to steal here. Call
Yeah.
Down, Shikuchi is amazing. Particularly Ice Path, I think, is what he's mostly going to be keeping an eye out for. And I'm feeling like maybe they
Tides
need
pick.
possibly
Yeah,
a
there's the
puck.
Puck.
There's the puck.
They pick the Puck.
Radiant's pick.
WCTL ban out the Magnus. Pretty good ban. Magnus with Jakiro is a very strong showing. Magnus Jakiro Gyrocopter as well.
Absolutely.
Now we're probably going to
Yeah.
be seeing the Weaver in the offlane safe lane Gyro. We could see the opposite way around though. Who are they going to go against this Puck? Who are they going to send there? They can't send the OD. That's been banned out. They've got the choice of things like
Not a
QOP,
quap.
Storm Spirit. Yeah, Storm Spirit would be quite strong.
10 seconds
They
to
could go
go.
an unconventional mid if they want. They could send Elder Titan mid and pick something else for their
5
off lane.
seconds.
Elder Titan probably will be going mid. It depends. I mean, we could see an offlane pickup here, but I'm kind of feeling like
Reserve
Elder Titan
time.
might be offlane. Although on the Radiant side, offline Elder Titan is okay. So yeah, it is going to be a mid Storm Spirit, and Elder Titan will be going to the offlane. A nice trick when you're in the offlane, at least on the Radiant side, is you can walk that Spirit into the large camp off to the right
Yeah.
to get more damage and move speed. And Storm Spirit looking very, very handsome these days.
He really is. Now I'm annoyed at this change. I'm really annoyed at this change because I was considering, say, if I ever got to go to TI4 or something in Seattle, cosplaying as Storm Spirit because I'm a slightly overweight guy, and you know everyone overweight goes, oh, I'll just do Pudge, and I thought no, Storm Spirit would be brilliant, and now they've gone and thinned him up, haven't they?
You
Now
can
I've got to
still
hit.
go as Mexican Storm Spirit.
I mean, I just have to go to the gym really. Ugh, physical activity. No, thank you.
I have to get it some way. But Storm Spirit
10
new model now with that
seconds to
Free
go.
Spirit update looking very sharp. Frankly, I like it, and they did
5
also do a good bit of work on
seconds.
the remnant effect. But we're seeing again a lot of control. We'll change this later. Love their control in their heroes again with the Rubik Crystal Maiden and now a Storm Spirit on top of it. And a pause out here in the early game, but let's run through the teams.
Yep. On the Radiant side, we'll change this later. The guys from the University of Kent. They have Deezer playing that Crystal Maiden that he played so well last game. James Bond's going to be taking up the Rubik. Recoil back on that Luna, looking to farm up an absolute storm. Jailu's going to be off lane Elder Titan, leaving Noob, very capable mid player, with that Storm Spirit, such a high impact hero.
Meanwhile, on the Dire team, we have will change. Pardon me, extra Sarah Wet Noodles. Bit of a display issue up there at the top on the team names isn't shown. But on the carry Jaro, we've got F. We've got Prom taking up the Jakiro. Yoon, who was playing our Tinker, is now playing our Puck, who's going to be going mid. Hoping to see a bit of micro out of him. Very tricky hero to play. Mulgan95, once more on that Visage. And this leaves Bunny, our suicidal offlaner, to the Weaver.
And that'll be nice to see. The game's going underway. Not too long a pause. Both teams. Mulgan95 pulling out of smoke. So does the Rubik there, James Bond. Both teams possibly looking to get something going in the early game. Nice little bit of early game aggression. It's what we like to see here at the UKGL.
We are going to see a crew from XSR Wet Noodles heading down towards that Radiant Jungle. Probably are looking to ward the Radiant Jungle here because they are taking that Weaver with them. Rather the Gyro. The Gyro shouldn't be down here. I mean, this can't possibly be a tri-lane now. They're bringing down all the heroes here. Meanwhile, all of the heroes for what changes later also going into the jungle. So we might have a bit of pre-game action right now. And it's going to be in the favour of the Radiant because they've got all 5.
They really have. And they're going to spot out the Weaver who's just going to run away. Mulgan95 has to be very careful. Prom, however, on the Jakiro is going to have that ice path ready, and that is something really to, that ice path at level 1 can just shut down an early level 1 team fight. So both teams just going to head back to their respective lanes. James Bond manages to get the lift onto Prom, lifts him up there, out comes the blast, but the ice path comes out. Lot of damage coming out onto Prom though. He's down to half health. Are they going to manage to chase him down? He's very low. A couple of hits. Out comes the rocket barrage early from the gyrocopter though. Recoil's really low. Are they going to look to go on Deezer? 3 soul assumption charges there on the Visage. He needs to fire that off. He needs to get that kill. He can probably get it on Deezer if he fires it off, but he doesn't. But he doesn't have the mana for the soul assumption.
Absolutely hectic. I mean, I would have to think there that XSR Wet Noodles would want to avoid a level 1 engagement, particularly with Bunny on their team, because if you want to fight at level 1 as Weaver, you want to take the Swarm, which then would leave you without Chikuchi in your offlane, which isn't what you want. Very good Rubik telekinesis there, just about being able to bring Jakiro up onto the top ground, and it's a miracle that nobody died there.
Really
also unfortunate that Luna had her Lucent Beam at level 1 rather than Lunar Blessing. The Lunar Blessing brings an awful lot of right-click damage to a tri-lane at level 1.
However, speaking of tri-lane, we've got tri-lane against tri-lane, so lots of action here going early on. The Jakiro, Visage, Gyrocopter tri-lane going up against that Luna, that Crystal Maiden, and that Rubik. So we're going to be seeing fireworks very early on. Really nice to see. Let's get the CS
very
score up.
Volatile lane right here, and an awful lot of dangerous abilities on either side. Grave Chill very powerful at level 1. Jakiro's Ice Path not so much, more so the range, but it's just enough to let Jaro get in close enough for a rocket barrage. Meanwhile, we've got an awful lot of damage potential. I mean, once these heroes hit level 3, there is going to be a ridiculous amount of damage being thrown around. And honestly, I'm putting that in the favour of XSR Wet Noodles because that soul assumption from Visage, in addition to rocket barrage, is just absolutely so much damage.
One good rocket barrage means 5 soul assumption charges, which means a dead hero. Because if you get both of those off onto one hero, top lane,
might be in a bit of trouble.
Bunny's doing a bit of diving. This is what you expected to see from him. But you know what? He's just going to happily chill. A little bit of lane banter in between the Jakiro and the Gyrocopter. I love lane banter. Absolutely love it. One of the best things about the voice acting in this game.
Absolutely ridiculous. Now in the mid lane, we see the Puck giving Storm Spirit a hard time here. 7 and 5 versus 4 and 1. Bottom lane, telekinesis into Illusion Beam.
Telekinesis into Illusion Beam. The Grave Chill's going to fly back out in return. Nobody's really going to... Gyrocopter takes a bit of damage. He's got his magic stick up. He's only got 1 tango left. He gets pulled another one though. And you know, that's not going to be too bad. Puck manages to pick up that illusion rune. Storm Spirit's got his bottle, which is really good.
A very fast bottle for the 2 minutes. And he also picked up the rune, I believe.
Yes, it seems he did. Yeah, he got that illusion rune, so he's just going to use that to just help him CS and try and zone out this Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, bottom
And
lane.
we're seeing that Elder Titan on the top lane, J-Lo, doing that trick, walking the spirits into that large camp, slowly killing it and getting more damage. And Bunny doing an awful lot of harass to the Elder Titan in this situation here. Meanwhile, the mid lane still going in favour of the Puku now with that illusion rune. Storm Spirit starting to just about catch up.
Yeah,
Nice
pops the
bait out
remnant
there
up.
by Noob for the
Really was
face
quite
shift.
nice, yeah. And you know what? Yoon has to be very careful here because Noob has the Vortex. If he'd have gone a little bit
Bottom
farther
lane.
forward... Sorry, bottom lane coming out. Big Ice Path coming out. First Blood comes out from Recoil onto the Gyrocopter. And he's going to manage to get Prom as well. And that is not good if you're an aggressive tri-lane there. Because you've just given away 2 kills to the opponent's defensive tri-lane. Not good at all. Sorry, I was focusing a little bit on mid there. Cool, blimey.
We saw, but
not very good for ESWN. WCTL
so there's that time bomb going off on that bottom lane. Had to happen sooner or later, and it goes in favour of, we'll change this later, just an out of position Gyrocopter going in for a last hit. He doesn't have the best of range. Mid lane actually right now we're seeing Puck going onto Storm Spirit.
A little bit premature, but the electric vortex doesn't last too long. Storm Spirit very low on health. He's got 8 HP.
6 health.
Cool,
Very
blimey.
close.
So they're going to have to keep an eye on him. Thankfully, there's nothing really global. Yeah, no Zeus ulti, no Prophet ulti. Yawn.
Lot of fighting going on so far, though. Teams very confident in their ability to fight at early levels. Storm Spirit now getting an invisibility rune. Will be able to bottle up most of that damage on him, but might need to head home. Still no boots on him. He's coming down to the bottom lane. Not sure if they want to try and get something done here against that tri-lane. Jakiro's walking into the woods. Puck needs to be careful.
Baits it out. Managed to get the kill on the Storm Spirit. Oh dear. Noob, you really... That was really ambitious. Now James Bond dodges the Ice Path but takes a Soul Assumption to the face. Not a problem. We'll
One
lose the Storm
barrage.
Spirit. We'll take out...
One barrage into one Soul Assumption, absolute ton of damage, and we're seeing some nice return kills here now. Not quite sure what Noob was doing, hanging around there, trying to right-click the Puck, you know, who's on like 30% health when he's one right-click away from death. Could have been avoided, so a bit of a misplay there, but they might be able to make up for it if they get this Jakiro caught out, if they find him when he's coming out of the trees. But a good
Ice Path
response.
comes out. They managed to hit the Rubik. They're going to go on him, but out comes the Nova there from the Crystal Maiden. Lucent Beam coming out on the Visage. Visage tanky enough to take it. Lift coming out on the Jakiro as well, but I don't think they've got enough. Ice Path comes out. And the Frostbite coming out on the Jakiro there. There's a massive rocket barrage on the Luna, and she is really, really nice. She needs to be very careful. Weaver manages to take down Elder Titan top in the meantime, with everything happening down bottom. Luna is on 24 health.
Absolute chaos all over the map. Luna scurries away on 15 HP, away from eating a full barrage to the face plus tower hits. Absolutely, she needed to survive that. If she died there, that would have been the end of the tri-lane, giving Gyro a kill like that and losing your carry after losing your Storm Spirit. So ESWN off to a nice start here. A bit of action here at the Rune.
But picks up the DD. Noob tried to barrel in there, but he gets the Vortex off. Doesn't last for very long. Dream Coil comes out. He manages to zip out of it. And then man fighting here. Yoon gets frozen just
Phenomenal
in time.
play from Yoon. That was a bad situation. Storm Spirit with the double damage, or pardon me, Puck with the double damage, but Storm Spirit absolutely in control there, zipping around, jumping, avoiding Puck's abilities very well. Absolutely crucial decisions and timing there by Yoon on the Puck to be able to get out of that alive. Very well played.
Nova coming out from the Crystal Maiden. All three for ESWN down here on this aggressive tri-lane are pretty low. Now they've got the lead ever so slightly, and you know what? Their Weaver's doing very well in that solo save clean. Taking quite a bit of damage, he's got the natural order on him, but it doesn't really matter because he's got time-lapse and Shikuchi. Well, that was a really nice display of mid-skills, as it were. Both of them duking, both of them dodging hits with their skills. Both of them really showing that they are very good at their individual heroes. Ice Path comes out, manages to catch Recoil, but they've not got any follow-up for it. And James Bond just be able to go there, walk forward as the Rubik and say, "Oi,
top
hands
lane,
off."
Elder Titan in a lot of trouble.
Top lane,
from
Bunny diving
will
in.
get away.
You got to think one more Geminate attack could probably do it there. But that Astra
Bottom lane
Spirit
now.
Oh.
Got a lift on the gyrocopter into the Lucian beam, and that's just too much damage.
Too much damage. The ice path flew out. Mulligan very close to dying. There's a big Lucent beam. That's a level 3 Lucent beam, 225 nuke damage. And I don't think Visage, he's got the Gravekeeper's cloak, but it's not really very good against a Lucent beam.
Particular when you've only got one rank of it, and his base magic resist was nerfed quite heavily recently.
Yeah.
So one kill per minute here, action all over the map in every lane, and it's shaping up already a lot of fireworks going off, as you said. No one strongly in control at the minute so far. Gold is pretty even, experience barely off the graph, kind of in the favour of the Dire, but nothing really worth mentioning. And it's a lot of action going on so far. As you said, though, a lot of good mid-play there between the Storm Spirit and the Puck. Absolutely very skill-intense heroes. A very high skill roof on those heroes. You put a good player on them and they'll do a lot of work for you.
Ice Path comes out, doesn't hit anyone. Lucent Beam comes out on the gyrocopter. And you know, I'm glad that ESWN went with this aggressive try here. Purely because WCTL, we'll change this later,
Invis Puck.
Invis Puck. He's got 3 around him. Does he have Dream Coil off cooldown? He does. Big 3-man Dream Coil and the silence. Very good rotation there from Jung. Elder Titans come in, but Bunny's here as well. They've got everyone down here. Bunny's just diving now. Can he get the kill? Geminate attack flies out. Doesn't do a lot. But my goodness, they managed to take that. And this is what ESWN needed to do. WCTL proved that in defensive tri-lane versus defensive tri-lane situations, that they've got the better rotations, they've got the better ganking, they've got the better farming. So ESWN needed to pull something out like this. They needed to pull an aggressive tri-lane. They needed to play to their strengths as opposed to playing in a situation where their opponent's strengths is really better. And
absolutely.
As a result, James Bond and Deezer, amazing at rotating around. They've got no time to rotate around. They're constantly facing an onslaught on their lane, and they're losing now. ESWN are 7 kills to 4 up 10 minutes in. They've got Bunny's the top farmer. F on the gyrocopter, not doing as well as he needs to be, but he doesn't need to be.
Bottom lane, Gyro might die right here now. Eclipse comes out from the Luna, taking out the Gyro and the Jakiro, and now Visage goes down as well. That's 3-0.
And I spoke too soon. That was a really good engagement. A little bit too far forward for ESWN there. They take that lead and then they just gave it away there. Bunny's still their bot. But you know what? A great lift, a great Nova, a lot of damage coming out from Recall. Really well-timed Eclipse. His Eclipse timing is always... I've never seen him fail to get a full Eclipse off. Maybe once.
Extra Sour Wet Noodles, as you said, a very good response
dear Bunny.
to that first
Bunny
game.
gets frostbitten. Time lapses out though, and the big ice path coming out there. Follow up, killing spree there. Manages to get another one. Swarm flies out, doesn't hit anything, but the Geminate attack going to come out on the Crystal Maiden. He's frostbitten. He's going to Shikuchi in, gets that kill. Visage gets the kill secure. James Bond just going to have to be chased out of there. Really nice play from Bunny as well there. He got frostbitten up. He got
mid lane. Oof. Sorry to interrupt there, JT. Puck was being a bit dived there by Noob on the Storm Spirit in the mid. And a dive here now by Weaver on the bottom lane even.
Oh, blimey. Too much to go on with this game. James Bond manages to steal the Shikuchi just at the right time. But Bunny knows it. He's going to roll forward. A couple more Geminate attacks. The Shikuchi comes out. There's a Swarm.
James
no, it's not.
Bond! What? Absolutely good. The one chance that he has to survive that Weaver, and he does it with just a fraction of a second to survive, stealing that Shikuchi. The only thing that would get him out of that situation, the telekinesis was already used, and then Bunny chases him down actually, but that level 4 Shikuchi has such a short cooldown, he is able to get away by the skin of his teeth. But just to get back what you were saying there a few seconds ago there, JT, about Extra Sour Wet Noodles, following up from match 1 fantastically. Match 1, they went defensive tri-lane and defensive tri-lane, and they got out-farmed and out-carried super hard by Luna, by Recall on that Luna. And the same situation now again, they change it around by doing an aggressive tri-lane, and it's working out very well for them so far. Bit of action now here up on in the Dire jungle.
Yeah, James Bond manages to lift up, steals the ice path. From's going to get ice pathed in. Down comes the cooldown though. From's going to die from the Elder Titan Spirit flying out, and that cooldown doesn't actually do a lot of damage. That's a free kill there. They managed to back out from that one nice and quickly, WCTL. And they're just rotating around to meet each other constantly. Lots of engagements here.
James Bond just handing these guys kills on a silver platter. More excellent play by James Bond on that Rubik, lifting the Jakiro up so the Luna can get him for the kill, and then quickly stealing that ice path and casting it just in the right place, exactly just as fast as you need to keep the Jakiro in place with his own ice path and getting the kill. So again, we're seeing big plays here by James Bond on that support.
And you know what? That ice path is such a good spell for Rubik to steal, purely because he has an amazing cast animation. Jakiro's cast animation for ice path is very slow, has a long backswing, whereas Rubik, he can just machine gun it out. And look at that, using it almost like an Earthshaker wall. Counter ice path comes out. Big two-man Dream Coil on Recoil and Lou. Huge damage coming out. Puck takes a dive. Elder Titan and Luna dive from all the AoE going on there. In comes James Bond, gets a Feybolt out, but doesn't quite get any kills. A little bit too greedy from him. And he gives away a third kill there, and that's 9-12. ESWN, every time that it's pulled back a little bit, they pull
bottom lane
slightly.
Crystal Maiden getting dived on by Bunny.
Yeah.
Nothing going to come from that in the end. But a very unfortunate fight there. 4 will change this later on the top lane. They got trapped. They got Ice Path, I believe, trapped on top of the Macro Pyre. Too much damage for the Luna. Very good, very quick. A big thing about Luna in team fights is just getting onto that Eclipse and casting it fast, casting it before you get stunned. She did get to kill the Puck with it, but standing in place on the Macro Pyre for too long does get the Jakiro double kill. And we're seeing now
not really hitting much.
Yeah, teams both having a break right now. Storm Spirit applying a bit of pressure to the mid. A bit of action down there on the bottom lane. Weaver, Bunny again being very aggressive, getting away with the skin of his teeth there with that time lapse. Going to chase down these two supports.
Pops the swarm out, but huge amounts of damage coming his way. James Bond just saying, no, here comes Jung on that puck. Super high impact hero. James Bond making use of that Sakuchi though. Really good spell for Rubik to steal. Rubik's such a positioning dependent hero. And to be able to steal a spell like Sakuchi or, you know, an illusory orb. It's
one of the best spells he can have, absolutely.
He's got his real pick, and he's been stealing the right spells at the right time. He's had an Ice Path when he needs it most. He's always had a Sakuchi when he needs it most. I'm waiting for him to steal things like cooldowns and possibly even Visage Birds if he gets a chance.
Oh, that would be very useful indeed. So, I mean, there's a lot of weight here on James Bond's shoulders. A bad Rubik won't really accomplish very much for you, but a good Rubik, given the opportunities, will make plays, and James Bond is making plays here. We're not seeing the map change too much now. Only the tier 1 mid gone down for Radiant Team. We're going to see a bit of push here on the top.
Yeah, Recoil being harangued down by those birds, but Deezer's back in for support. Pops off a Nova, just manages to clip Morgan 95 there on the Visage, and they're going to be TPing in, yeah. And it's essentially 5 there, 5 against 5. Although Noob is just chilling there mid, getting farm. In comes a big Dream Coil, manages to hit 2, and the cooldown. Earth Split manages to get a lot of people. Everyone's low. Visage is low. Down goes Visage. Out comes the big Ice Path. Doesn't hit. Ice Path stolen by James Bond. That's a dead Jakiro as well. They've lost 3 there. That engagement not going their way. It's now 12 for 12. And suddenly, WCTL poised to take a tier 1 tower.
They are thirsty for blood.
Oh, they can see you. They've got him. Out comes the Vortex. Out comes the Ice Path. That's 4 kills. And for the first time in this game, they take the lead in kills.
Nothing short of complete obliteration will suffice. Absolutely wrecking on that top lane. Very, very good commanding position.
Bunny, he's pushing out that bottom tower. He's going to get a TP reaction from Recoil, and he's just going to YOLO it. Sakuchi in, see how much he can get out of it. Drums pop there by Recoil. What's Bunny going to manage to do? He's got the time lapse still. He just casually Sakuchi's away.
There's nothing you can do to stop this annoying little bug from harassing you and then just waltzing away with nary a word said against him. Absolutely, Weaver, just you can play so aggressive and get away with so much. No other hero could just, you know, an offlaner going one-on-one against the enemy carry with a level 2 Eclipse ready under a tower, and then just whenever he wants, just walk away scot-free. So, I mean, definitely, Weaver is certainly a hero to suit Bunny and his aggressive playing style. And currently, we'll change Slater just hanging back, getting a bit of farm. Their tier 1 mid might be going down here. An awful lot of push being committed. 3 of the enemy hero. Meanwhile, they're also pushing down on the top lane, so looks like they might feel that they're ready to team fight now.
Here we go, big TP reaction coming in here. Huge Ice Path Macropire. D's taking a lot of damage, gets Dream Coiled, dies very quickly. Bunny's gone a dominating streak. Noob is going to take down the Jakiro there. Out comes the Eclipse from Recoil, taking down that Puck. They traded a tier 1 there for a crystal, or they traded a tier 1 on a crystal for a Puck and a Jakiro. And they're probably going to lose their own tier 1 now because WCTL have the momentum running in here. They've already lost a tier 1, so they're just going to push forward just that little bit more.
Unfortunate death there for the CM. She walked too far forwards and kind of just, fed herself, unfortunately. But overall, a very good fight. 4 will change this later. Very, nice Eclipse, and everything just kind of went for them there as they wanted. I mean, it was 5 versus 3, so...
you need to be careful here because Noob's got a DD rune, getting close to it. He's going the Bloodstone build his Storm Spirit. I like the Bloodstone on Storm Spirit. It's a very aggressive, I'm going to try and snowball from minute 20 onwards kind of item. And meanwhile, that Weaver, he's got his Lincolns. He's the top farmer in this game so far. Let's have a look at the net worth from now. 8.6k. He's only about 700 in front of the Luna, but like I say, he's got that Lincoln Sphere. He's going to be a massive issue here. Shikuching round, just being an annoyance to Storm Spirit. Not going to get the kill on him, but he's going to knock some damage down and just annoy him.
Numbers aside, I mean, Weaver has his Lincolns now. That's really all he needs. No one's going to stop him from getting levels and getting level 3 time-lapse. This Weaver is basically sorted for a long time now. Unless he gets overly aggressive. I mean, being aggressive is what you want to do as Weaver, but unless it turns badly for him, he is happy and dandy. Here.
He's a little out in the middle of nowhere. Out comes Jung. Illusory Orb comes in. He gets the Dream Coil and the Silence. In comes the TP support. Down comes the cooldown though. Time-lapse comes out. Recoil manages to limp away once again on a little bit of health. And you know what? They output a lot there and they didn't get the kill on Recoil. Got to be slightly annoying if you're Bunny. Swarm comes out. Gyrocopter takes a fall there.
Yeah. Caught out in the Radiant jungle. Team was kind of divided between the tower and the jungle.
Mega kill there for Bunny. Huge Macropire coming out there. James Bond dies. 2 supports down on the side of, we'll change this later, ESWN bring the kills back to level, and they're looking to push this tier 2 here. And you know what, we've seen a good showing here from ESWN. Big sleep coming out from the Elder Titan, but no Split Earth to follow up, nothing to follow up even. Lincoln's top there on the Weaver.
Fortunately.
No mana, big damage coming out there. Yoon gets a massive silence off, but out comes the Eclipse, taking out the Jakiro. Noob manages to get the Vortex out on Yoon, but escapes from the cooldown. What a lot of action in this game.
Between Storm Spirit and Weaver, both of them just doing the same kind of jumping in, shoving a middle finger in your face, and then just leaving before you can do anything about it. Absolute just clowny nearly kind of plays here, and this game is still just like basically this is dead even. If you check the graphs, there is really no difference between the teams, and the scoreboard is basically the same.
Oh my goodness, look at the gold earned graph. It's almost at 0. XP, it's about under 1,000. That's half a hero level at this point. There is so little in between these two teams. Tower-wise, both have lost pretty much all their tier 1s. ESWN do have 1 tier 1 left. They have that Roche advantage, having that tier 1 bot.
So the big question now, the big question that we got to ask ourselves, very evenly paced teams, is the items coming out. Luna has BKB, drums and treads, and an Aquila, so sitting quite happy there. Both teams have their mech. Puck has just picked up a Blink Dagger, so that's what we really got to keep an eye on, is the team fight starting to spiral out of control with this Puck who has level 2 Dream Coils and a Blink now.
I don't like that BKB choice. I think she should have gone a damage item there, Recoil should have. Purely because the only thing the BKB is going to stop, two things. It's going to stop the Puck, or it's going to stop the Jakiro. The problem is the Puck is going to get that shock initiation now. Storm Spirit zips in there. They manage to get the kills off on the Jakira and the Visage. And Noob is just surging forward. Double kill coming out from J-Lu. Bunny's getting an unstoppable streak though, doing lots of damage. Is Bunny going to manage? Takes out Recoil. Time lapses back. Takes out the carry. Both carries for ESWN are still alive. Bunny gets the Lincoln Sphere popped.
He's going to see if he can chase that.
He can see Deezer. The birds are keeping vision. Bunny's just going to roll forward now. They can see him there with that sentry ward. Frostbite comes out. A lot of damage on the Elder Titan, but Bunny's going to keep rolling forward. YOLO. Deezer's going to try and
deny the
neutral. That's annoying if you're Bunny, but Bunny's just going to casually roll out there again. 3.2k on that Weaver now. He can go for a Desolator very soon, and that's when Weaver comes online with that Lincoln's Desolator. Kill's still slightly in favour now of WCTL, but you know what? They managed to... ESWN, they lost the Puck, they lost the Zakira, they lost the Visage, but they killed the Luna. They killed Recoil on that farm-heavy hero, and their farm-heavy hero is streaking ahead. And this is nice to see. And this... Without trying to jinx it, we could be seeing a Game 3 here because ESWN are starting to really show that they can hang with WCTL, that they can, take these team fights. Bunny on that Weaver. You nailed it earlier on when you said, Bunny playing that aggressive hero, he really would suit a Weaver, and it's obvious that he does.
Yeah, and the smiling face of the one true god watches on as Extra Wet Noodles very much takes a commanding presence in this game too, but it is still all so evenly paced. There's kills all over the team, all over the place. Levels are mostly in favor of. We'll change this later on the Radiant side, and I still just cannot call this. I mean, as you said, I would also possibly question that BKB liked by Luna. She does need to be safe. There is a Weaver on the map who is doing a lot of ganking, but in the Radiant jungle, we're going to have a team fight breakout.
Big zip forward from Noob, baits out the phase shift. Meanwhile, in the jungle, huge engagement going down. It's all going on everywhere. Puck and Storm Spirit are man fighting it. In comes Deezer with the Frostbite. Let's have a look. They're chasing down up here. Nobody's died yet. The Puck dies. Huge ice path coming out from the Rubik. There's the call down from the Earth Split. Wow, the damage coming out. And Recoil gets a double kill. Elder Titan with that Earth Split and the Sleep gets a lot of damage done. Bunny,
this is just a seesaw of a game right here. We're just going from one team wipe to another team wipe to another team wipe, and it's just they can't decide, come on guys, who's winning, So a fantastic fight there for Will Change This Later in the Radiant jungle, 4-0. Unfortunately, the Weaver, I believe, someone got caught down alone. Might have been the Puck, as you said, on the bottom lane there, while there was another fight going on in the middle, and they were all just kind of caught out and put down one by one, and it goes 4-0, and we're seeing they even take a turn out from this, and it's so hard again to just put a name on who is in charge here.
Here comes the Puck Illusory Orb in, just baiting out that ball lightning. Now we've got to be careful because Bunny has Lincoln's Desolator. This is where Weaver really shines, because we're going to probably see some Rat Dota right here. Some good old fashioned Rat Dota. Split push those lanes, get out of there without even taking any damage at all, and just go and do it on another lane. Now it looks like WCTL, they've seen the Weaver, they're pinging to defend that tower, they're rushing in there, but Bunny's going to be able to get too much done. Here comes the TP in from the Elder Titan and the Rubik, but Bunny's just going to say, that's fine, I'm going to run away.
Good trade. Very good trade by XSR Wet Noodles. Bunny all by himself forces out a couple of TPs, takes away half of the health from the 2-2 tower, while his team gets Roche uncontested.
Amazing, yeah.
Not sure if they can quite
really well played. This is the joys of Rat Dota. And that Roshan's going to fall very quickly now that the Weaver's there with the Deso. And who are they going to give that Aegis to? Are they going to give it to Bunny or are they going to give it to F? They're going to give it to F on the Gyrocopter.
The Gyrocopter can't afford to have his farm slow down anymore. If you check out the net worth, the Gyro's not doing very well. He's way behind the Luna and the Storm Spirit. Weaver is basically carrying this game for him at the moment. So the Gyro taking that Aegis, get himself a bit of farm. They're signaling that he wants to farm up his jungle right now. We're going to get a pause, but I don't mind the Aegis on the Gyro. The Weaver doesn't really need it between his skill set and his items. The Gyro needs a bit of a break to get his farm up, and it's a tough situation at the minute. The Radiant supports for, we'll change this later, need to have their sentries down, and they need a sheep stick, to be honest. Again, it comes down to you need a sheep stick to shut down that enemy. And Storm Spirit, good man that he is, has 15 charges on his Bloodstone and has a Mystic Staff. So he's about, say, 2.6k gold away from his sheep stick now.
Huge ball lightning in. Bunny's there doing a lot of damage to Noob. Yeah, Vortex manages to take down the puck. But it looks like, did they manage to take down the Storm Spirit? They did take him down, but he respawned almost instantly. Lost a lot of charges on that Bloodstone though. And that was a 1-for-1 trade. Bunny just doing far too much damage. Like you say, he's really carrying this game. That's one of the good things about Weaver. He's one of very few off-lane heroes who genuinely can just transition into your one-role carry if your main carry doesn't do very well. He's going to get bait out the ice path there from the Rubik. The cross ice path comes. Don't cross the stream, Zegon. Out comes the Eclipse. Manages to do a lot of damage to the everyone. Aegis popped on the Gyrocopter. Gyro's going to pop up BKB almost instantly. Buyback from the Jakiro. TP reactions coming right in. But WCTL, they're going to back out. They're going to take this kill lead ever so slightly.
Not bad. I like that. They go in, they do a bit of damage to the tower, they take an Aegis, they pop, they force, that was a 10-second charge on Gyro's BKB, and they just walk away with no losses. Storm Spirit is back up to 12 charges on his Bloodstone, and he can nearly get his Voidstone now if he wanted to get that, maybe sell the bottle, or possibly upgrade his boots. But they need that sheep, because basically the sheep is the answer to the Weaver. And what I'm seeing this basically come down to is, we'll change this later on the Radiant side, just need to play it careful. They gotta make sure that their trigger fingers are, that they're making good choices and not firing too quick. They need to time the sheep well, because it's nearly their only hope of killing this Weaver. They need to chain stun him, and that instant sheep, or possibly a Rubik. I mean, I think that if they could get Rubik a blink, it would go a long way towards them staying alive during the late game now. But with that said, it is 25-19, and the graphs are slightly going in favour of the Radiant now, but we just cannot count out that Weaver.
You really can't. You can't count out the Rat Dota, you can't count out the Weaver, who is single-handedly carrying at the moment, just really doing a lot of damage. I mean, a major thorn in the side of WCTL. He's got his Lincoln's Deso, he's got 3.3k on him now, so he's going to be looking for a buyback or a second. He's going to find Recoil in the jungle with no backup. Pushes out the Swarm, taking a lot of that armor. He's not going to go in there though. He's just going to play it safely. He could have possibly gone in there.
He could have. I mean, Luna has no detection, but as he was worried about, Storm Spirit comes in. They bring in basically the entire team now down here.
Lincoln's pop. He needs to be careful now. Time lapse is out. Very quick time lapse. Oh wow, really duking. Fantastically dodgy play there from Bunny. Just time-lapsing just at the right moment, duking away, and WCTL had to put quite a lot into that to try and catch him, and they didn't manage to. Really
they rotated
nice
down 5 heroes, they coordinated well, but they just didn't have the detection. They need a gem, or they need Storm Spirit to put down a sentry by himself. They do have sentries on the Crystal Maiden, they've been doing a good job keeping up their ward so far. But the Crystal Maiden needs to walk in and plant one down beside the Weaver. She'll get killed before she gets in that fast. So they want to maybe consider giving sentries to the Storm Spirit if he wants to do any solo kills. Or even, I mean, they can't get a solo kill basically on the Weaver. Between the Lincolns and the Timelapse and the Shikuchi, they need to kill him as a team. But as we just saw, they waste their time without detection.
Big, another long range initiation coming in from Noob. Jung's very low, he's going to die. Not a lot of support his way. I don't think he should have TP'd in there. Possibly a little bit of miscommunication. He wanted to go in, wanted to defend that, but his team just was not behind them. WCTL are going to get a tower from this. They're going to look to maybe pick up the Visage as well. Macropire comes out just to sort of protect that Visage. Nice defensive Macropire. Elder Titan is looking to play the push role here for WCTL. He's picked up a Necro. He's at Necro 2.
And there's your true sight for the Weaver as well.
Yeah. Very nice answer. If they can descend as a team on that Weaver, they can pop up the Necro 3 when he gets it, and that Weaver will be fine. Weaver
Weaver has a
going
BKB
super
now.
defensive now. Lincoln's and a BKB. I really like this against the lineup he's against. He's got more than enough damage. He can take out anyone on the opposing team, but now he will just survive. The moment that Lincoln's pops, if he thinks I'm going to get hammered down even further, he can pop his BKB, or he can just get out of there with that BKB.
I like it. I like the BKB. A more traditional item probably would have been maybe the MKB, and that would have been nice versus the Luna as well. But the Luna isn't that far ahead. She's a while away yet. She just has her Manta now, so she's only going to be starting her Butterfly. But a very nice investment by Bunny on the Weaver to get this BKB, because he knows it's all on him at the moment. His supports, of course, and the puck are needed to control things, but he is their sole hope of killing people. And when you're against a Storm Spirit who can jump around like that, and when you're against all the control that Radiant team have, he needs as much damage as possible, but he can't afford it, because if he dies, then the gyro just won't be able to hold up. Not currently. The gyro has picked up a BKB, so again, hoping and praying that Gyro will get some farm that he needs for the late game. But until then, Weaver very much has their back. But we can't discount this Storm Spirit now, who basically has a sheep stick now. He's just about to buy it, and he's got 13 charges on his Bloodstone. We've seen Noob on this Storm Spirit jump across half of the map again and again, and it's very good Storm Spirit play. Huge initiation, a lot of damage, and he is making plays himself. But the difficulty is they're against the Weaver, who cannot be controlled right now.
To have a look at the kills, deaths, assists. The most kills is on the side of WCTL, sorry. They're Luna with 9 kills to 4 deaths. However, ESWN, they have their Weaver on a 7-0 streak. Hasn't died yet this game. He's just been so tricky. Not only has he been super aggressive, he knows how to get out of situations really well.
Curious item choice here by the Crystal Maiden, picking up a BKB.
Oh, I love we mentioned it last game. BKB, Carry Maiden.
Well, I mean, in the last 10 seconds, we've picked up a Sheep Stick on Storm Spirit, we've picked up a Necro 3 and a Gem on the Elder Titan, and Crystal Maiden has a BKB. So, Rubik as well, by the way, has a Ghost Scepter, so no real solo kill potential there. Kind of shuts down the Weaver. And we might see a fight here now on the mid soon.
Lucent Beam flies out, trying to pick off a bird. Give me free money. Another bird just playing absolute distraction there.
Regeneration.
Meanwhile, where's Weaver? What's he doing? Split pushing bot lane again.
A big jump by Sword Spirit in the mid lane onto Mulligan 95. Not going to come out in from it though.
No, and Bunny's going to TP right back in. That bottom lane massively pushing out though. And they have to be super careful of this. Top lane even. Thank you.
You might want to look into that.
And you know what? This rat DotA.
I went to push L to activate Glyph there for a second.
Just out of absolute habit. I know. The amount of times.
Here we go. Mid-fight is going to explode. Here we go.
Icepath comes in. Luna's got the BKB. Here comes the Earth Split and the Eclipse. They take down the Visage very quickly. From on the Jakiro is going to get absolutely zapped. In comes the cooldown. Bunny gets frozen up though. Bunny gets killed by the Luna, and WCTL absolutely hammering them in this fight. Ultra kill coming out for WCTL. No damage coming out from the Weaver at all. Just such a good fight. Really well executed. It's a team wipe. They're going to take this tier 3.
They're going to take Rax. Well. This is Rax. No question about it. I didn't quite catch what happened there. What happened to the Weaver?
He got frostbitten. I don't think he managed to get. Let's have a look at his BKB's off cooldown.
It's not. He didn't get a chance to use it. Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to use it, and they're going to call the GG.
It's a GG.
36 minutes in, WCTL they keep their undefeated streak, and you know what? They managed to pull that out. ESWN were really.
They take it to game 3. They show that. After a 55-minute game in Game 1, that they are also able to just take a very strong position in this game and take a win at 36 minutes. Very well played, some excellent plays there.
Really, really was. And you know what, man of the match in that game, I would like to give it to Bunny, but just for his amazing Weaver play. But then at the end, it would have been really nice to see him use his BKB. He got that BKB, he didn't use it, and it led to them losing the game. Just shocking how in
Very
that one
unfortunate.
fight really.
Well, that's the power that a sheep will give you, because as Storm you can use items while you're jumping, while you're ball lightning. You can activate that sheep and sheep them before they even barely see you. And honestly, man of the match for myself, Bunny was definitely pulling his weight, and he kept his team in the game for so long. But I've got to give my match of the game here to Storm Spirit. A lot of solid on the ball initiations, and just he made the right choice. The Bloodstone was a bit greedy, but it paid off. He got, like, when you're instant respawning with a Bloodstone, you know that you've made the right choice to buy a Bloodstone. And then following it up with the sheep, I would say nearly won them the game in that choice.
Yeah, most definitely. And honourable mention going out to the Elder Titan there, as played by J-Lu in that off lane. Every time he got the split earth off, he hit multiple people. Every time he got the sleep off, he hit multiple people. Really just an unsung hero. Of course, the supports there for WCTL, James Bond and Deezer, just being quite dominant over both games even.
More good play by James Bond this time on the Rubik. I definitely feel that we were seeing heroes that suited players better here. I mean, I didn't notice Noob doing too much in the previous game, but he certainly caught my eye right here. And James Bond, as you see as well, I think Rubik is another hero that absolutely suits him. He was playing as good as he was on the Earthshaker, but here on the Rubik, and I think with more of an effect.
Excellent. So whilst I'm going to quickly have a quick calculation, have a look what the brackets are going to look like for the next game. In the meantime, Cyclone, we're casting a game tomorrow. We're casting quite a lot of games. What are we looking to expect from the next few games? Because now we're starting to see that some of these teams are still outclassing other ones. We've got 5 Magnificent Malaysians and WCTL. Both have played games today. Both of them are still undefeated. We've got a couple of teams who we haven't yet seen play. So we've got Dim Sum still yet to play, and it looks like they're going to be taking on 5MM tomorrow. Let's have a look. We're going to be seeing CUDGS3 are going to be taking on the loser of that match, either Dim Sum or 5MM. Let's have a look for match 11. That'll be Extra Sour Wet Noodles dropping down into the loser bracket, and they're going to be taking on Magic Socket. And then the game that we're casting tomorrow, we're going to be seeing these guys. We'll change this later. We're going to be seeing these guys taking on the winner of match 6, which is going to be either 5-man mid or Dim Sum. So a lot of good quality Dota tomorrow. A couple of best of one games, a couple of best of 3 games.
Definitely. I mean, we're seeing a lot of healthy, hard-hitting competition right here between these two teams. The winner of this game 3 that we're heading into now, we're going to cast the winner of this game tomorrow. Will be going up against that winner of, as you said, 5MM versus Dim Sum. Will be taking on the winner from our game here. So if you want to keep an eye on Wet Noodles and change this later, then check us out tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Excellent. Well, that is the end of the Dota 2 for today here at the UK Gaming League Dota 2 University League Season 1. My name's been JT. Joining me here has been CycloneDuke. We're going to be back for you tomorrow. There's 4 more matches tomorrow, and then more on Sunday, including the grand final casted by the man himself, Pyrian Flax. We've got so much more Dota coming your way. Thank you very much if you've been tuning in on the Twitch stream. That's UKGL TV 1. If you want any more information on the UKGL, have a look at the streams, have a look at the VODs. You can check those out on our website, ukgl.org. We've got lots more games, lots more upcoming casters, and lots more good quality University Dota. So from me here, it's good night from me.
And from me, CycloneDuke also. Thanks for watching, and as always, have an exquisite day.